Good Wednesday morning, friends, or afternoon, or evening, or whenever you may happen to join. For those that I may not know, I'm Reverend Jennifer Finley, our Momentum and Discipleship Pastor here at First United Methodist Church in Kirksville, and this is our weekly time on Wednesday mornings to gather in this way, to pause together, to take a deep breath, to briefly reflect on how God is meeting us, where God is moving in our lives, where God is moving in our world, how God is finding us. As I'm looking out the window, I'm realizing that a day makes a huge difference. For those of you who are up here in this area, you know that yesterday we had 75-degree weather and I had a spring jacket on and I wasn't wearing a coat. And today, as I look outside, there's just a little bit of snow on the ground and some ice on the streets, and it's beautiful and sunny, but it feels like we have changed seasons in just 24 hours. But I trust that God meets us in every season, whether it's the change, whiplash of the weather, or sometimes the whiplash of our lives, that God meets us there. It's one reason why I have come really, truly to cherish this time with you, to maybe settle in, to still drink my cup of coffee, to settle in with you and to ask and wonder together where God is in all of the midst of the things that swirl in our world. And as we have shared in worship on Sunday mornings, if you join us online or in person, you know that we are traveling together on this Lenten journey as we head from Ash Wednesday to Easter. And part of that traveling together is listening. We shared on Sunday morning a bit about what it means to be called by God to listen to God, to listen to ourselves, but also to listen to others and what that really means in our lives. And I came across a poem, a story that came across some of the resources I've been reading for this Lent, and I thought I would share it as one story about listening. Truth that ricochets. I went to a lecture once, an interfaith conversation with interfaith leaders. Whispers bounced off the church's tile floors as people shuffled into place, carrying hope alongside assumptions mixed into pockets like loose change. About halfway through the evening, a young woman in a blue hijab began speaking. She was the youngest person on the panel, seated far to the left. You might almost miss her if you weren't paying attention. But not here, not when she spoke. In a quiet determination, she told us of fear and persecution. She told us of hatred and racial slurs thrown at her people from car windows like bombs. It was a truth I did not know. And the truth ricocheted like sunlight through the cathedral windows, touching almost everyone that day. Then a man in the back who could have been me, who has been me, approached the microphone and said, "Your people are persecuted. You live in fear. You are battered by hate. If that is true, then why am I just now hearing about it? Why is your story not on the news? Why have you not spoken up about it?" And the air was still, partly because we held our breath in anticipation, and partly because the Spirit slows her dance when we stand at the edge of truth. The woman in the blue hijab leaned into the microphone and whispered with a quiet strength that can only come from years of practice. We are screaming. If there is one truth in my life that unfolds again and again, it is the need to listen. That's one particular story, and it's one that I found powerful. That reminder that sometimes there are voices that we haven't heard for whatever reason in our daily lives. And sometimes we are called simply and powerfully to listen to them. But that's not the only story. I got to thinking about the ways in which that story met me. And I thought about what a friend shared with me earlier the last couple of weeks. I was sitting down around a fire pit with a friend, and she shared a story about how she had met someone in an unexpected place and had had a chance to sit down with this person. It was just sort of a chance encounter, and the person had shared their struggles, had shared some of their travels with grief. And because my friend is simply skilled at sitting down and quietly listening without trying to fix something, she found that this person said, "Thank you. Thank you for not saying all of those things that other people say when they are attempting to fix something or when they're not quite sure what to say." I know I've had conversations with many of you when you've traveled through grief, that sometimes people don't know what to say, so they say really unhelpful things. And what you really just want is someone to sit with you and to say, "Yes, this is hard, and I hear you, and I will hold it with you." I have another good friend who gave me a call on the phone last night and was talking through some challenging things in life, and my almost immediate reaction was to want to offer solutions, to want to fix the pain and the hurt and the hard. But what was really needed was simply for me to sit and listen. We are not easily built in our society to sit and listen. But I wonder, when has that been a blessing to you? When have someone listened in a way that you felt that your pain and your grief or your worry or your fear, whatever it is, was heard? Or perhaps you had those moments when unexpectedly someone else shared their story and you were able to simply hold it, to listen. That's not an easy thing, but it is part of what we are called to do, and I imagine that we have all been blessed by somebody at some point in our journeys who has taken a moment not to try to fix our pain or our hurt, not to offer solutions, but to listen, truly listen, and then eventually respond. But that first step, to hear. I think what struck me the most about this poem, this story, was this. When the man came to the microphone and said, "I hear you," essentially, "I hear that you are experiencing all of this, but why? Why have I not heard? Why have you not spoken up?" And she essentially says, "I have. We have. We are. You have not been able to listen." The poem goes on. "For again and again I will try with good intentions to act and walk with love, but again and again I will make mistakes, and again I will say the wrong thing. So again and again I will pray for a truth that ricochets, for ears that will listen, and for space to hold truth." I love that prayer. Praying that we have ears to listen, that we have hands to hold space. And while this is only one story, a story of hearing the pain and suffering of someone different than us, sometimes I wonder if the ways we are called to listen is maybe even a little closer to home. The ways we are called to listen to those closest to us. And I think sometimes that's the hardest thing, because the people who are closest to us are the people that we really, really want to be able to fix it for. We really want to be able to say, "I have a solution to this. I don't want you to be in pain or grief or worry or fear." But I wonder if part of our practice of listening is simply to let ourselves sit together with others, even those, and maybe especially those closest to us, and say, "Yeah, let me hold this space with you." Because we know that eventually others will hold that space for us as well. So friends, whatever listening you are called to this week, whether it is listening to yourself, listening to God, or listening for the ways in which you are called to meet other people, know that you don't do that alone. We do it together as God's people on this Lenten journey. Go in peace.